women in that group, they wouldn't. I'm glad they didn't have to deal with Xander Hall's abuse or something along those lines, and then said it's because of his eugenital stuff. Now, this is very funny because not only was there a trans woman in our group, she doesn't want to be named because she wants nothing to do with all of this shit because she's super pissed off at Spooky for spreading it around. Like, there's literal screenshots of them communicating in the Discord talking about her girl dick. So that's like a blatant lie that there was that there were no trans women in the group. And I can go ahead and bring up the gallery and show you the screenshot of them talking about her girl dick as well, if that's necessary.
Do you have a screenshot of her saying there were no trans women in the group?
No, yeah, it was on Twitter.
You saw that?
No, I just send me that screenshot. I want to look at it.
Sure.
But I believe that there was a trans woman in the group. That's what I've heard.
I mean, she made the claim that there wasn't here. I'm going to my channel right now to find the gallery because I have it saved in the description of my video on the drama.
I also think we should probably circle back to that clip at 14:30 where you say you tell Riley you're thinking about maybe stopping, and, you know, to me it came off more as I'm going to stop.
I mean, that's a far-fetched to say that's a lie. She literally made the claim that, here, I'm looking for it right now where they're talking about girl dick. I don't know if I have a screenshot of her saying the eugenital stuff. I can actually bring up the, I think I have it on the script for the video, actually. Docs. Here, I'm going to post the gallery both in chat as well as in the room that we're in right now so that you guys can go ahead and just get a nice look at all the screenshots there.
For sure. I think we've seen most of these. But
well, we've seen the gallery. If there's that one specific screenshot you want to throw our way.
Yeah. So this is an interaction here. I'm actually just going to go ahead and show display capture. This is an interaction. So this is the person with the pink name is the trans woman, and the person in green is another friend of ours that's in the group that doesn't want to be named, and then there's Spooky at the bottom responding to it all. This is what America really wants. Yes, girl dick. Yes, give me, and good health care, but mostly girl dick. Little true. Yes, mostly girl dick. Taste want to taste. Elisha would prefer hands, though, I think. And then Spooky responded, girl dick. I'm
not disputing whether or not that there's a trans woman in the server.
Yeah, I'm not even disputing whether or not, you know, Spooky has lied. I'm sure she's lied a few times throughout this process, but my whole point is, like, everybody lies. You've lied a lot throughout this process, so I don't think it's fair to, like, take evidence based off of who's more trustworthy when, you know, you both seem to have been not entirely honest.
I mean, you've yet to show me evidence of me lying.
Okay, well, we do have to circle back to that 14:30 clip where you tell Riley you're going to stop using ableism. I also think, you know, it's important to note here how when Riley was covering my video on you, I said Xander markets himself as if, you know, he changes his beliefs, which isn't true. And Riley used you stopping your ableism as an example of how you do change your beliefs.
Hold on a second. No, I change my beliefs all the time. Like, when I started doing YouTube, I was a liberal, right? And I was way more edgy. I engaged in, like, open, some pretty misogynistic behavior. And I don't know if, like, Riley gave, like, the example of me cutting down on ableism, which I certainly have done, even if there are examples of me engaging in, like, some problematic behavior, which you could probably find. I mean, I stream like 3 or 4 hours a day. There's probably some instances of that you could probably dig up. But that's not an example of me lying. Spooky literally lied and said because of my eugenital stuff, no trans women were allowed in the harem. That was a claim that she made, which is easily falsifiable. There was a trans woman in there. She's been my friend since 2018. That's why she was in there. She's also a trans lesbian. She wasn't into me. There was no, like, sexual behavior that happened between me and her. She was in there because we're friends. It was a friend group. Okay, so while we're on the friend group harem thing, was there ever a cis man or a man in general in the harem? At one point, yeah, in the server, yeah, but everybody kind of felt uncomfortable with him being in there, and so we, like, kind of made it so they couldn't go in. This is before it was a server. This is back when it was just a section in my Discord. But like the joke of it being called harem made a couple of people in the server uncomfortable. So Aisha ended up making a separate server and we moved it into there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a friend group. The problem is when you have nudes being posted in the friend group, even if it's not a sexual relationship, everyone has to be completely fine with it, with like anybody who is in there and capable of having access to that, right? You can't have like one person in there who's like not cool. Like you can't have somebody in there that a couple of people or even just one person isn't cool seeing like nudes of them that are being posted, even if it's consensual. Now this would have never been an issue with Spooky because she posted her nudes in every server she was in, including her own. But yeah, so it was sort of like, you know, if we're gonna have somebody in our friend group when there is like an NSFW area, then we kind of have to all be cool with it, you know?
Yeah, well, I certainly agree with that. Don't want anyone being uncomfortable. Riley, are you looking at the 1430 video clip?
Hold on, so you're asking me to look at 1430 into the evidence for Xander Hall debate video?
Yes.
Okay. I can pull that up. In Riley's RGR chats with Xander Hall about Corvida Day, uploaded on June 3rd, 2020, Xander Hall tells Riley and stream that he's decided to stop being ableist because he understands the harm outweighs the benefit. So, you want me to watch this then?
I mean, you can if you want, or like play it. I don't know.
I'm just asking. Yeah, I'm just asking because like if I do, I just need to watch it for a second.
Yeah. You watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. I essentially see like
1 second.
two overbearing, like two still like outstanding issues from the debate, right? Like two things that weren't really resolved, or two things that you both like still sort of gleaning of your debate. I watched the debate between you and Corvida. Obviously, there's been a lot that's been happening since then, but I feel like that's sort of like the best place to start, right? And we can, of course, like things have happened since then, and I don't want to take away from like all discussion that's happened since then, but just for the frame of reference. So my still like about this is all my basic bits.
I think that your strongest made against you on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
more or less that.
Okay, and then you respond
on it, saying that even though I've come to the conclusion that I don't think Faraday Corvida went into that debate in good faith,
even
I still
though
think they made very good arguments on the ableism stuff, and that's why I changed my mind on it.
Yeah.
So even though what your quote was, even though I think that Corvida went into that debate in very bad faith, I think he made good arguments and changed my mind about the ableism stuff.
Usually,
and ever since then, I've made a pretty genuine effort to try to avoid ableism, and I've even actually started combating it actively because I see a lot of ableist behaviors that are problematic.
Could I call you right now on the genuine effort to combat ableism? Because that one eugenics clip isn't like all the bad stuff you've said.
I literally stream 3 to 4 hours a day. You're going to be able to find clips of me saying problematic shit, okay?
Yeah, and that's why I have.
But if you go back, to before the Corvida debate and you dig up clips of me from back then, you're going to find a significantly higher amount of me saying and doing problematic shit. I promise you. I made a genuine effort to cut down on any ableist behavior, and have actively gone out of my way to call it out when I see it.
Okay, I want to point out right now that this is pretty disingenuous. Right now, you're misleading your audience to believe as if you've changed since the Corvida debate. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. All of the evidence we have in this video has been collected from after I put out my video on you.
And thus after Corvida.
So
go before the debate with Corvida and look at. Wait, no, it's not. Hold on. Follow this here. See if you can follow this line of logic really fast.
All right.
I said that I want to cut down and get better with certain ableist behaviors. I want to cut down on the ableism, right? That's what I said. I want to get better at it. And then you guys took a bunch of clips of me still saying things that can be interpreted as problematic or ableist from after me saying that. My argument is that I have made a genuine effort to not only not engage in problematic ableist behavior, but also to call it out. So if you were to go back to the way I behaved before my Corvida debate, you're going to find a lot more evidence of me being problematic and ableist than you're going to find from afterward. Even if we control for the same amount of time, I made a very genuine effort not only to, cut down on ableist behavior and rhetoric, but to call it out when I see it as well.
Okay, so
this isn't evidence of me lying about anything.
Just a few days ago, in one of your streams, like yesterday or the day before, you reiterate your stance that you would be fine with holocausting mentally disabled people if that meant you could eat their meat and if they were separated enough from you so you didn't
Ooh.
have to see it.
By the way, in
Let's get into
context-
that one then, because I know that you guys got to know the context of that one. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go ahead and fill in that one. So I
Yeah,
was doing
fill
a
in the
Dark Souls
context,
stream.
please.
So I was doing a Dark Souls stream, and a pretty fairly well-known vegan YouTuber named Ask Yourself came in. And Ask Yourself's debate style is to basically try to prove that if you are like someone who cares about the world being better, you have some sort of moral inconsistency if you are complicit in the meat industry or in the agriculture industry, meat, dairy, all that stuff, and yet you would. You wouldn't be okay with like a genocide of mentally disabled people on the moon to eat their meat. He comes up with like these very fantastical things. And my position is, yeah, in a world where we're all raised and socialized that, okay, yeah, it's just a thing. There's a colony on the moon where severely like mentally disabled people are butchered into meat and they're just served to you. And it's just, back your mind, ignorance is bliss. I said that this is basically equivalent to the modern day meat industry. And in a world where we're socialized to sort of just support that and not really think about it like we are with the meat industry, then yeah, I probably wouldn't I probably would still support that industry. Yeah, no, this wasn't me saying I'm okay with like a genocide of like mentally disabled people on the moon.
Well,
Sorry.
it kind of was, right? Because the context to this debate is that you were trying to figure out what it was that made someone worthy of life. And the argument you settled with is their
Nope,
intelligence.
that wasn't what the debate was. Nope, that wasn't what the debate was at
Okay,
all.
well, that's
The
how
debate
it
wasn't
got-
whether or not. Nope, the debate wasn't whether or not they're worthy of life. The debate was whether or not what conditions would there have to be for me to be complicit in an industry like this. And I said these they would have to be exactly the same as they are for the current meat industry, because that's how the world works. Most
Okay.
people who see videos of like cows and chickens being slaughtered and kept in cages and like horrible situations revolt at the sight of that, and they probably don't feel like having any meat for a while. But eventually we put it to the
My
back of our
question
minds and we
is,
don't care
though,
about it because that's how we're socialized.
Why did it get to the mentally disabled? Like, shouldn't it just be okay then to Holocaust anybody on a moon base? Like, why is it specifically mentally disabled people?
Because that's where Ask Yourself took it. Ask Yourself made really leading arguments when we were talking.
Ask Yourself took it there because you defined what makes a human as their intelligence.
Nope, I didn't define what makes them a human. I defined what condition would I be not okay, but complicit, as I am now with the meat industry to a degree, with this occurring. And I said, well, generally I think in order to they would have to have at least the intelligence of a cow or a dolphin or something like that. And he said in this case, there are people who literally have the intelligence less of that than cows and shit.
Yeah.
You're trying to pin me down on the semantics of a vegan argument with someone who came up with the most fantastical example possible. And you're trying to prove that I'm ableist because of that. It's actually ridiculous.
Okay, so that's not what's happening here. My question is, why was it specifically holocausting mentally disabled people and not all people?
Because the example was that these people would have to have the mental fortitude of actual animals. That was what I said. If for me to be comfortable, not comfortable with it, but to be complicit in it for it not to be comparable to the atrocities of the Holocaust in the world's eyes, to go out of their way to try to stop this, there would probably have to be people with less mental ability than animals.
So yeah, you're saying those people in their lives are inherently less valuable to you, which is a pretty ableist
they're
idea.
like animals.
No.
They
This
don't
is what
have
this is
ability.
what Ask Yourself was trying to lead me into believe, or trying to lead me into saying. The point that I was trying to make was that in a world where this has been normalized, then yes, I would probably be complicit in this industry, just as I am with the meat industry. I would see it as just as barbaric and terrible as I do the meat industry.
So if it was people with a higher, mental ability, then you would not participate in the industry.
Hold on, really quick. Hold on, really quick. I actually need to interrupt really fast, because what you're doing right now is you're pivoting really hard. You're trying to laser focus on this argument that I had with Ask Yourself as evidence that I'm ableist. You do realize that, right? Which came from me trying proving that Spooky is a liar to you now trying to prove that I'm a liar, which you have failed to do.
Okay, so if you want, we can move on to some examples of other lies you've told other than you not being ableist.
Sure, hit me up.
Okay, so in the late birthday phone stream you did, you talked about my video a little, and you seriously misrepresented the timing of your jailbait tweet. Like, ludicrously so. You said that I went through your Twitter and found these 3 tweets from since you started your Twitter account 7 months ago, when in reality, all 3 of those tweets were from the month before I put out my video.
Between messaging you, actually prepping it and putting it out.
Do you think that's like me lying?
Yes, that's you. I mean, yes, like.
I said that you went back into my Twitter. I said you went back into my Twitter that was made 7 months ago and found 3 tweets that were just, so for mind you, I actually want to give some context to the audience because the way that you're wording it's going to make it sound weird. One of the tweets was from a pro Fortnite player named Clicks, who's 15 years old, who tweeted a picture of a girl and said, "Oh my God, I've never seen a girl that's hotter in my life," and then responded to it, "Oh shit, she's 12," and this was screen capped and put on our the Struggle Tweets Twitter account, which is a Twitter account that's about like showing off like a moment of weakness or like a struggle moment for somebody where they did something embarrassing or like weird, I guess. Like anybody who knows what Struggle Tweets is on Twitter will think that your accusation is fucking ridiculous. The other one was a friend of mine named Pixie. She's another streamer. She uploaded a picture of herself and said, "What vibe does this picture give off?" And then she like quote tweeted it and said, "I was hoping a bunch of you guys would say hot so I could respond, lol, that's from when I was 17 and I could like get you with like a joke." And I quote tweeted that and said, "This is why we don't simp in the comments, boys." And then another one was a thread. This is the third one. There might be a fourth one, I think, but it's more or less in the same lines as this, of like a viral tweet that had like quite a few likes and retweets. That was like apparently a 16-year-old girl had started an OnlyFans and was like catfishing dudes online. And I liked the tweet. And you said this is like evidence of me being, I guess, sympathetic to dudes who get catfished. Like, I don't know, by like underage girls. I don't know.
I mean,
So first of all, you're the one who's pivoting here right now. You've moved on.
No, I'm not. I'm literally giving you evidence or context to those tweets. Also, the argument that you gave originally that I was a liar. Oh no, the argument that you gave originally that I was a liar wasn't me being a liar. It was an unbelievably semantic attack at my wording, saying that you went back into my tweets from my account that's been made 7 months ago. And you're saying, well, actually, I only went back this many months. Like, this isn't an example of me lying.
One many. So
reminder, hey, reminder. Hey, people, I understand that this is very heated and it's very contested. Do not speak over each other or else I'll come in and I have to clean things up and I really don't want to, all right? So I understand this is very heated. Try to the best of your ability to give each other the opportunity to speak and respond to specific points. All right? Okay.
All righty.
So, okay, yeah. So you're pivoting right now from the fact that you completely lied about the timeline of something that's pretty relevant. You literally said in your video, "Oh, this happened over a period of like 7 months, so it's not a pattern." But it happened over a period of 1 month, which is what I would call a pattern.
So, like I said, this isn't lying. This is like semantically pulling apart my words to try to see some inconsistency there.
Okay, Riley.
Like I've literally like repeated all of the examples that you brought up. None of them being problematic in any way to begin with. You take issue with like the way that I framed, whether it was intentionally or not. I would argue it was unintentional if that's the case. Of like the amount of time that passed when I made these tweets or when I liked these tweets.
Okay, so I feel like it's pretty relevant because you yourself acknowledged that it would go to establishing a pattern. The second thing is we can get into the jailbait tweets in a minute, but that doesn't, regardless of if you think they're legitimate or not, doesn't negate the fact that you did completely lie about them.
What did I lie about? I would like you to read exactly what I lied about.
Okay, Riley, could you please go to 22 in the video?
22 minutes. All right. What it says is, in this late birthday phone stream done on July 29th, 2020, Xander Hall outright lies about the evidence that I've shown. He says that the screenshots I took of his jailbait tweets are going back months to the beginning of the year. This isn't like a pattern. She had 3 examples, all from since I started my Twitter, which has been like 6 months. That's quoted, so I assume that's a direct quote. This is a lie. The 3 examples I showed were all from the month before I put out my video. This is absolutely a pattern. Clip starts at around 54:30 in the video for context. So yeah, if you want to, I can listen to it. It sounds like if people agree on what the context is, it sounds like this is going back to the allegation or like the issue of like, do the cited examples actually go back to when he started his Twitter, or were they over the same like this past month, right? Have we already talked about this?
Oh no, basically what happened was remember in the video that she made on me where she like brought up a couple of examples of me liking jailbait tweets, which were like these non-problematic joke tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during like a phone stream where I was on like streaming from my phone with my girlfriend, I said Cancel Couture like went back into my Twitter account like a few months to go find like some problematic examples of me liking tweets, but apparently it was only like a month or something, and she's trying to claim that this is like a pattern and I do it way more, and if she went back she would find a bunch of examples of me doing it even back then. But yeah, no, it's kind of weird.
Cancel. So am I representing your argument correctly that like what are you trying to accomplish with this is I suppose what I'm asking.
Okay. That was a direct quote. I forget what the exact quote was, something like, so right now Xander is trying to portray this as, like Cancel's just picking apart like my words. Like I wasn't actually saying it was 7 months ago. But if you read that direct quote and watch that clip, that's exactly what you're saying, Xander Hall. So either you're lying.
Wait, do you think? So lying would have to implicate me like knowing like the like what you actually did. So do you think I knew like the process that you went through to dig up those tweets? Because from my perspective and my understanding, you just went back and found basically every problematic tweet you could find, because you were literally showing on screen me like following accounts, liking tweets, and like retweeting people. Like, I mean, most of what you brought up weren't even tweets of mine. You like dug through my entire Twitter.
The dates on the tweets were in the video. I think that if you want to try to,
do you think it's reasonable for somebody to like whenever you show? Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but I know what you're like saying. I just want to like, just for the sake of brevity, because this has been going on for over an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. I wanted to. So, do you think that like me saying okay, do you think it's reasonable for me to see like the dates of the tweets in the video and to assume that I'm lying when I say that? Like, I don't know the process you went through to get those tweets, and then for all I know, you went all the way back to 7 months of my account to find these.
I don't think it's reasonable to require you to just look at the dates on the tweets and know about it. But I do think it's reasonable to ask that when you're describing this video to your audience, if you're going to say something so certainly that you're certain about it, or you at least did like an iota of research.
Did it look? What are you talking about?
Right, like you just willingly said to your audience, "Oh, this is 7 months ago." Like when that just wasn't the case.
Okay, hold on.
I was on my phone in a hotel room after like 3 days of road tripping. I don't think I was doing like I did my takedown of the stream with my girlfriend once I got here. Like this wasn't like an authoritative like me having like a hard stance on like debunking your claim. This is me like talking about it in passing during a stream in a hotel room in the middle of the night after 9 hours of driving.
Okay, so you're saying that you can acknowledge that this was dishonest?
Yeah, the claim might have been wrong, but it was not dishonest or a lie, no.
I think it's pretty dishonest to speak with certainty about an issue and portray it as if this
I don't think I spoke with certainty. I think I said in passing that she like dug up a bunch of tweets from like 7 months ago or something.
Okay, hold on. Let me just listen to this, because now everyone's disputing what's actually being said.
The point of struggle tweets, the person being showcased is...
All right, you're talking about struggle tweets?
Like clearly fucking ridiculous. I found my sister's Twitter, then closed the app after clicking her profile.
Oh wait, hold on. I think I can actually share my screen to all of you, so that you can just follow along. Okay. Oh, perfect.
Are pinned.
You might be able to actually, if you stream your actual like like Google, you can actually have sound too. So like we'll be able to hear it.
I think that you should be able to hear it. Like my chat is able to hear it, and if you're like listening through Discord, I think you should be able to. Like this is what me and Chud Logic did a little bit ago.
I can't hear it unless you're streaming it.
I like that tweet. If I like that tweet from Struggle Tweets,
you are
incest
okay.
now? Mm-hmm. Because that's the implication of the logic this chick was using. No, regardless, Struggle Tweets is a very popular Twitter account that showcases like the hilarity of particular unfortunate events towards a particular person online. And the example that she showed was a post by Struggle Tweets where a pro Fortnite player, if I recall correctly, named Clicks, shows a picture of a girl and is like, "Oh my god, she's the hottest woman I've ever seen," and then shortly after says, "Oh fuck, I didn't know she's 12." Now, to be fair, she doesn't look 12, so it's understanding that he might have like not realized it, but then he like says, "Oh shit, she's 12," and that's an embarrassing moment. That's pretty fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie. I laugh whenever a dude sees a girl who's underage, thinks she's pretty, and then finds out she's underage, and is like, "Oh god, oh no," and like freaks out about it. It's fucking hilarious. It's unfortunate for them, but it's hilarious. So I liked that tweet.
True.
That was proof of me liking jailbait memes or jailbait tweets. Another one was a tweet about a 16-year-old girl who'd apparently started an OnlyFans. From my knowledge, it turns out you can just keep the most recent dono up on the middle of the video. Okay.
I was looking for it again.
The second tweet that I liked that she showed on screen, or like retweeted that she showed on screen, mind you, this is going back months, like to the beginning of the year. Like this isn't like a pattern. It's like she had 3 examples all from the last since I started my Twitter account, which has been like 6 months.
Wait, was that the quote?
Okay, so do you think that's me lying, or do you think it's me like authoritatively speaking on this, or do you think that's like me not like lying about something, or do you think that's me not knowing the methodology of which you dug through my Twitter to find this evidence of me liking jailbait tweets?
Okay, so if I wanted to if I were to believe that you like completely, you had no idea when the tweets were taken from, you just assumed that I was digging through your Twitter, then it's still like pretty misleading because you're doing coverage on my video, right? Like
Well, no, that wasn't coverage of your video at all. That was me doing a like mid-season, like sort of like shitty midnight, like actually for many people it'd be like 2 a.m. phone stream with my girlfriend in a hotel room. Like,
okay, then why were you talking about my video?
Because people in chat were asking what I thought of it. And at this point, I hadn't
So you decided to cover it.
I hadn't even spoken. Mind you, I
chat.
hadn't even spoken of the video up to this point. All that had happened is me and Lonnie watched Riley Grace's coverage of the video. I hadn't even spoken on it except for like on Twitter, and I think maybe in passing at some other point. Who knows? You guys might go find an example of me acknowledging its existence and try to claim that I'm lying. So I'll be a bit more clear that I'm not 100% sure. But I didn't cover the video. I didn't like respond to it or actually cover it or speak authoritatively on it until me and Lonnie's response stream that we did to it. So
okay,
yeah,
so you're saying your audience asked you to speak on the video, you did, and then you just completely made stuff up based off of assumptions to your audience, and that you were not misleading them?
Things that later turned out to be false.
No, you got me, dude. I totally lied. I knew exactly what you did, and I lied. I wanted to make you look bad. You got me, dude.
All right, cool. I mean, if that, like, I don't know what to say to that. We're going in circles here. We could go to the next lie.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so, in your video, covering my video, you say how you always respond to DMs, and you imply that you didn't respond to mine just because you didn't have the time.
Yeah?
So I sent you my DM a month before I put my video out. Like a whole month.
Wait, are you just mad that I didn't respond to your DM?
No, I'm saying you tell your audience that they can DM you if they want to change your mind or have a chat about something, and then I DM'd you and you didn't respond. So that's a lie to your audience.
Okay, hold on. So yes, I try my best to respond to DMs from my from people like my audience and whatnot, but it's generally me reading them, and if it's worth responding to, I'll respond to it. Like if it's a question or something, I'll usually respond, especially if it can be with some brevity. If it's somebody saying something like, "Hey, I'm going through a really hard time right now," and what have you, like, "Thank you for making your content," so on and so on. Like if it's something like that, I'll respond with like a heart, or I'll respond like with a small response or something like that, just to sort of like let them know that I saw it and I appreciate them and whatnot. But I don't like promise to be able to respond to every single message that I get, especially as I grow bigger and bigger. I literally have DMs from like massive YouTubers and shit that I haven't responded to. Mind you, your account that you DM'd me from was literally a month old at the time, had like 4 followers, and it was like a play on the word cancel culture, on the term cancel culture. I was like 90% sure at the time that you were an alt-right psyop or something. So I don't know if you can really blame me for not responding to your DM that you sent me.
Well, I can see, I could see you not responding in our like little Twitter fight or whatever, but I feel like the DM was pretty informed and nice. I don't know. Are you saying that you
I didn't even see it. I have a massive line of DMs. Like as I've like most of my, so back when I was like, God, even Lonnie can also attest to this, because like I was already like around the time me and her started talking, I was already getting to the point where I wasn't going to be able to respond to every message that I got, which means I probably wouldn't have been able to respond to her message, which means we wouldn't have started talking, becoming friends, and so on and so on. That would have sucked because I love my girlfriend. But no, like my position or what I would say back when I was like a 10K sub Andy or whatever was that I try to respond to all of my fans replies. That's why I keep my DMs open, like on Discord and what have you. But like as I get bigger, that's gonna change. Like obviously.
Okay, so that's no longer true. You're updating the fact that you respond to your fans.
I mean, I respond to them, but I can't guarantee I'll respond to every single message. Like, that's just not like feasible for me.
Okay.
I get like dozens, sometimes even over 100 DMs per day. Like, it's just not like.
No, sounds good.
Realistic.
That's perfectly reasonable. It's just it's not the position you had stated before. So I wanted to clarify.
When did I state that position? Well, just to give an idea of the timeline, just because I don't remember last time I said that I respond to all of my DMs. I say anyone can message me and I'll probably respond or I'll try to respond. Like, when did I say that I would respond to every DM?
May 13th, you said something along those lines.
Okay.
Like in the month I posted my video, I think June or maybe July actually. I don't know.
Well, I gained nearly 10,000 subs, like over 10,000, I think, in that time period. So I think it can be understandable that maybe my ability to respond to every message probably isn't. Like, I don't think it's an example of me lying. Like, that's just. Like you seem to be like grasping for examples of me lying, like blatantly lying about things, when I've given an example of ones like of Spooky like just blatantly lying about a thing that she knows is untrue.
So I feel like though you could make the argument that a lot of the stuff you've lied about is untrue, right? Like I can't confirm or deny that you knew when the tweets happened, but I feel like you would know.
Okay, no, you're totally right. You're totally right. No, I got you. Yep, you're totally okay. Can we move on?
Okay, yeah. Cool. So, should we take that back then to Spooky? So you're saying, so we agreed that if I could prove you're a liar, which you are conceding to, then neither of your testimony is trustworthy as to what happened in voice chat.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, so since we can't trust your voice chat testimony anymore, and we've already discussed the screenshots you showed that didn't make it very clear it was a relationship, do you have any other evidence that what was going on with Spooky, like that she should know it wasn't a relationship?
I mean, you can ask everybody else that was involved if they feel comfortable talking to you. I mean, all of them agree that they made it very clear to her. I mean, there's a screenshot in the gallery that I sent you back when she was having her big breakdown on Twitter saying, "What the fuck is she doing? We all made it clear that this wasn't a relationship." I'm pretty sure that was the wording
so here's
of what they said in that screenshot. Like, I'm sorry, but like you're arguing against like the like documented evidence there that it wasn't a relationship.
Okay,
you just want very desperately for me to be guilty.
So the only evidence that's left that we're talking about right now is the eyewitness testimony of the other girls in the group.
I guess so. I mean, if you don't believe me or the screenshots, then I guess that's all you can really go off of, I suppose.
Sorry, if I don't believe you or the screenshots, we've already addressed the screenshots, and I think we've talked about...
Wait, what is your response to the screenshot of them saying we made it clear that this wasn't a relationship in the chat of the harem server after or during her breakdown? Like, do you not believe that? Do you think like they started orchestrating? Like, are they fake? What do you think? Like, you have
okay,
comments
so
on that.
a few things. One, like I said, there's, power dynamics there. And it, the power dynamics, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. Okay, so first of all, the power dynamics make it so it's a little harder to believe, like, the eyewitness testimony of someone who's still actively your friend, right? Like, that makes sense.
Wait, do you think they would still? No, actually, no. Never mind. You're just gonna say power dynamics. So basically, let's just cut through all the bullshit here. Like nothing that me or any of them say, you're gonna believe. Like you're just going to believe her and anybody that's on her side at this point.
No,
Like there's literally nothing me or any
say,
of them can
you
do.
can back it up with like screenshots of evidence, but so far you haven't been able to do that.
I literally have a full gallery debunking like the majority of the shit that she's claimed about me.
Okay.
Well, we're focusing on the not a relationship claim right now.
Yeah, like I literally like showed you this. Like, yeah, you're just gonna have to like you're not gonna be convinced by anything. I've literally shown you like the screenshots, and you won't believe their like eyewitness testimony because apparently they have like they're under my thumb or something. Like there's literally nothing I can do to convince you in that respect. Like you're just being dishonest. Like you're like this is actually like on like hold on. Riley, don't get too mad about this, but this is actually like a pathetic display of dishonesty. Like it's actually really, really, really embarrassing.
Hey, listen, I'm not here to make moral prescriptions, all right? I'm here to, step in when y'all ask me to and to otherwise allow y'all to speak, all right? I'm not speaking to your tactics or whatever.
Okay, yeah, good. I just don't like, because holy shit, I've tried to be pretty cordial so far, but the amount of times you've tried to frame me like saying something like errantly as like a lie, like when it's pretty obvious that I would have no idea what actually happened. This would be like me, like, this would be like me saying, here, how about an example? So there was a dude that was in, actually this is somewhat related to the debate that we're having, so we can bring it back around to that eventually, but here's a good example. So back when I first started streaming, there was a dude in my community named Extreme Dad. He's a Nazi, kind of a piece of shit, what have you, and he ended up getting caught with like asking, like hitting on and asking underage girls for nudes, and this became like the dominant narrative in like all around. It happened in Vosh's server and it happened in Destiny's server apparently, and so that was like a thing, and so everyone was talking about, including me, about how he was a pedophile, but then it ended up coming out that he wasn't really, and it was like a really long, like complicated thing, but it ended up getting proven that he wasn't actually like the screenshots and shit were edited and whatnot. And so he started accusing everybody who spread that around of lying, when in reality, they were only repeating what they had heard. They weren't lying. So that's basically what you're doing right now. You're trying to do the same thing that he did and accusing me of lying in this respect. When
well,
really
you didn't.
Like,
you actually did not hear some of the things you're saying. Some of the things you're saying, you just hadn't heard the truth, so you filled in the gaps, which I think is an important difference.
Does that mean that do you think like me? Okay, let's go back to the screenshots of Twitter posts, for example. Do you think me saying like, oh yeah, she like went back into my Twitter accounts like 7 months old and like sifted around through all my tweets to find these, do you think that's me lying, or do you think that's me making an assumption about what she did because she was making a big hit piece on me?
Yeah, I would say it's a assumption.
These are pretty reasonable assumptions.
Yeah, it's like cool you can assume that, but when you start saying that as if it's fact, when people have asked you to talk about it because they're interested, it feels pretty disingenuous.
I mean, like, I literally said that I was going to cover it in detail after I got to California and I was on the road, so I spoke about it errantly, just sort of offhanded while we were talking.